Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the farm. And as you can see, there's actually shit in the field now. That's right, it's been a few weeks since the planting video. It's June 3rd now. And as you can see, the corn is up and she growing. So you know the old saying, knee high by the 4th of July, right? Well, I think we're getting to a point where a better, more realistic goal might be knee high by the 4th of June. I mean, seriously, this shit's growing. As you can see, it's a little damp out here, which is nice because it actually has not. It rained once, right as we finished planting, which is very good timing, I will say. Usually the weather just kind of screws us over in that regard, but it didn't. But since then it has not rained, so it's been hella dry. So the moisture is much appreciated and it's going to be really helpful keeping these fellas out here growing. Unfortunately, it's kind of a goofy rainstorm and only some of our ground got it. Some of our ground off that away barely got anything. And meanwhile, we, like here, we got like 8/10 of an inch, just for you guys who aren't rainologists. Well, let's take a look at the crop. As you can see, this corn here, we've already put anhydrous on it. And we've already sprayed herbicide, so weeds are taken care of. As you can see right here, this baby's a nice dark green color. And that's what we want to see. That means it's taking up our nitrogen, which is, corn loves nitrogen. That's like its favorite nutrient. Prior to getting nitrogen, it's actually a much paler green color. But as we apply the nitrogen, it actually takes it up really quickly. So yeah, I'm willing to bet that within like a week and a half, you won't be able to see the dirt between these rows anymore. We'll have canopy. So that'll be nice. But anyway, I suppose I should take you guys out. Well, wait. First, let's talk about the sprayer. It'll be a teaching moment. So nice and conveniently for us, we have the sprayer and the spray trailer here, so I can actually talk about both. So I guess we'll start with the more direct bit, the sprayer here. So basically what this does is going to spray any of our like chemical product, like herbicide, fungicide, maybe insecticide, kind of depending on what kind of pressure we're dealing with, all that shit. And what we've been doing is saying herbicide, because as you can see at the moment, you can see dirt between the rows, which means sunlight reaches there, which means weeds can grow. And those will steal nutrients from our crop. When nutrients are in the weed instead of the crop, that's not good for our yields. You know, we want yield. So, that's where this baby comes in. These big booms here unfold, they're 90-foot booms. And there's little nozzles up here. The spray will come out of that big tank. I believe it's 1,000 gallons. It might be 1,200. I think it's 1,000. But anyway, they pump the spray out of that tank through the booms and you know, just spray it, cruise along the field. 90 feet, we can go about 10 miles an hour with it, so you can cover a lot of ground. If you can keep them filled and all that shit, and it's like a good day, like, you know, you don't have to worry about wind and all that, because windy you can't spray. You know, because the spray will like blow and kill your neighbor's crop, or, you know, it's just, you know, good to not have accidental drift. You want herbicide where you want it. You do not want herbicide. Go away, fly. You do not want herbicide to be anywhere but your field, because then it can potentially harm the environment and all that. But basically, on a good day, you can get like 500-600 acres done with this bitch. Here we got these pizza cutter tires here. They aren't much wider than my hand. And that's just so we don't run the crop over. You know, keep everything standing up nice. As you can see, it's a tall boy. I mean, I'm 6'5" and I can nearly fit under this thing, but not quite. About an inch or two shorter, I would fit. And that is so when the corn gets taller, we can go over and put our fungicide treatment on, which we do later in the summer. So when the corn gets tall, that can actually clear it without damaging it, which is why it's so goddamn tall and why we use the Haggie as opposed to a deer, because the Haggie's got more clearance and is actually tall enough to do that. But yeah, I guess let's head over to a spray trailer, which is actually a new addition. So let me describe our arrangement here. Like our farm, my grandpa and I, 1,200 acres. And then we work with another guy who has 950. And what that guy, he's a new farmer, right? So he picked up that land. I'm not sure the whole story. But he picked up that land and he lacks equipment for the most part. He's got the sprayer and this truck. And what the arrangement we have is that my grandpa and I, our operation, we help with his planting and harvesting. So we use our equipment to plant and harvest for him. We actually do the labor there. And he also uses our tractor to chisel plow, and he uses our Anhydrous bar. And in exchange for that, he is handling all of our spraying. So he does all that for us. And he's at the self-propelled sprayer. We did not have that before we started working with him. So we can save the cost on paying for hiring someone out for fungicide. So, spray trailer. We got the truck here, but he's got his water tanks here, right? So he fills these up with water. This allows him to mobily fill up the spray. Ugh. Parkour. The 1,000 gallons, they get you about 80 acres. And you know, you don't want to be running back and forth, back and forth. So you can bring this out to the field and have it and fill them up on the go. Well, not on the go. I have them just pull over to the side by the road and fill them up quick. So we have these water tanks here. You got to go into this whole pump infrastructure. You know, big pump. And they'll have a hose right there that he takes off and he pulls off and plugs in. There's like a little inlet on the sprayer there. And they'll pump in there. And here is actual product. So, fun fact, a lot of people don't know. We don't actually spray just straight herbicide. You mix it off with a very large amount of water. We got 6,400 gallons of water and one little tote of herbicide on here. He'll take out of here and load into this inductor, which will blend it with the water and pump it all, the mixture into the tank. Now that you know what's going on, let's get out to the field and watch this machine work. But yeah, now let's get out to the other piece of equipment, which is the Anhydrous bar. Gotta go on a bit of a drive for that though, so, because he's out in the field working. So, let's go. On the way home home here, I actually decided I'd take a little stop by one of our bean fields and just take a look at those. I know, actually, I don't think you guys have ever seen beans on the channel, so I guess this is a milestone. Here we are, I guess. This is a tiny little 2.5 acre piece. It's so goddamn tiny because we got the train tracks right here, so you know, it's cut off. This is the rest of the land's over there. So basically, as we can take a look around here, these are recently sprayed. You can kind of see this little speckle. Sometimes the herbicide with beans can be a little sensitive, and so the herbicide kind of knocked them back a little bit. You know, it's just kind of how it rolls. But you know, they'll recover fine. They'll grow up big unless something else catastrophic happens. But let's take a look at them here. They're short little things. They're smaller than the corn. Like, you know, corn ends up way bigger plant anyway. At this new growth here, they definitely are gonna appreciate the rain we had. And yeah, they're looking pretty good so far. You know, they're looking a little rough right now just because the herbicide knocked them back a bit, but no, I'm thinking they'll recover fine, you know, always do. And yeah, hopefully I'll actually be able to get some updates out on this here. As you can see, they got this little fuzz. That's how beans are. Fun fact, for those of you who don't farm, you may not know this. Oh, deer tracks. You may not know this if you don't farm, but we actually do not anhydrous our beans, because anhydrous is how we get nitrogen to the crop. And beans are legumes, which means they're just magical, and they have little bacteria buddies in their these little nodules on their roots, and they can just like yoink nitrogen from the air. They're just built different. Corn does not have that luxury, so we help it out and give it nitrogen through our anhydrous. But yeah, I thought you guys might just want to see the beans a little bit, so I pulled over quick, and yeah, let's actually go home. Maybe I'll flash some drone footage for y'all. Now that you've seen the anhydrous bar at work a bit, let's talk about what in the hell it's actually doing. So a big tank behind it is full of anhydrous ammonia. And that is containing our nitrogen for the crop. And so it's nitrogen fertilizer. That's like the main, that's the nutrient it's putting on. Anhydrous ammonia boils at, I believe it was -28 degrees Fahrenheit. And for you Celsius bastards, I don't know, just Google it. But negative 28 degrees Fahrenheit that boils and goes into a gaseous form. So you're probably thinking behind it, how in the hell? It's like 85, 90 degrees out here. How in the hell are you putting that on? You know, how are you storing any meaningful amount of it? Well, in that tank, it's actually under pressure so that it's forced into a liquid phase. And then, you know, we just slowly apply it out as with any other thing. But the whole system is just under pressure. And that is part of what makes anhydrous somewhat of a dangerous thing to work with. You know, it just gets into contact with your skin, and it'll effectively like freeze burn you. And that's why when we change tanks, we gotta have the whole goggles and mask combo ordeal. As you may have seen in some of those clips, or I might in editing show those clips later, you never know with me, where you can see that there's moisture on the tubes. That's because it's cold in there and condensation goes on and all that. Probably noticing that once in a while we seem to be missing a spot. You know, what in the hell is this here row about? This strip where the herbicide clearly didn't go. If we go down another length, there's another. So you may be wondering at this point, hey, I think you need a new anhydrous, man. Well, that's actually working as intended. See, our planter is 16 rows, right? And because the anhydrous bar goes between the rows and not on them, it has to be 15 knives. That's what we call them. And as a result, there's always one gap row. Now, I feel like this is best understood visually. So if you're not following me, give me a second. I'll get you caught up. Let's just say you had a 3-row planter. 1, 2, 3. You go up and down, so 6. And then you have one less than that. In order to fit within things, you need a 2-knife anhydrous bar. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2. And there's a gap in the middle. Now, if you went with a 3-knife to fit within those same 6 total rows, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It wouldn't line up. You'd be overlapping. And then you would be over applying to certain rows of the field. And the problem with over applying is that anhydrous, like I said, can be dangerous, and in excess, it'll burn the roots of the corn actually, which is, you know, not something you want. Now, a few more information about how much we're putting on. One of those big tanks lasts about 28 acres, which, you know, it's a decent distance, not as much as a lot of other things, but, you know, what you gotta do. We put, I believe, 165 pounds of nitrogen on here right now during this phase of growth, because this is when corn's doing the most growth. So it needs all of those nutrients it can get. You don't want to have it limited by the nutrients that you put out. You want everything to be out there ready to go for it.
And with that, guys, this video is now complete. If you enjoyed it, consider liking and subscribing and all that. To stay tuned for the next video, which will be coming relatively soon, hopefully. I'm pretty behind on editing though, so we'll see. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one.